All right, everyone. Baruch Hashem, welcome to Breslov Efrat. And today we're going to continue our lesson in Likutey HaLachot, Mitzvah Hashem Hashkamas HaBoken. And today we're starting a new halacha, halacha Daled. And this is going to be based on Torah Lamed in Likutey Moharan. It's a very, very long lesson. Likutey Lamed. It's a lesson that Rabbi Nachman gave on Shabbos Chanukah. Generally, the lessons Rabbi Nachman gave on Shabbos Chanukah were longer because he had a lot of Hasidim would come, his followers would come to him on Chanukah, and so his Torahs were deeper and a little longer. And it's an amazing Torah. We're going to go through it. As we go through Halacha Daled, we're going to decipher Torah Lamed in the Likutey Moharan, okay? And Rabbi Nassim is going to help us do that. Okay, so we start off again. Now we're learning Halacha Daled. So it's been told over that each time Rabbi Nassim would go through Shulchan Aruch, he would learn through Shulchan Aruch using another one of the teachings of Rabbi Nachman, and he would base the same concepts, the same halacha, using different what do you call lessons. So, like for example, the first time we used Reish Pei Beis, right? Torah Reish Pei Beis, and then in Torah we just finished up Torah Samach Beis. We did that was halacha, right? And then now we're going to see Torah Lamed. All right. So so let's go. He's got by Tari Lamei Babayke Sheyehei Hu Ma'ira Shachar. That you should be the one to wake up the morning. Shivisi Hashem Lenegdi Summer. We spoke a lot about this. That they're really one. They're both into. They're very. It's very, very important to have the Shivisi Hashem Lenegdi Summer right there, because when you recognize, when you get up in the morning, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is with you, you're not stam. You're just getting up. You're mamish with the Rebbe. It's a whole different awakening in the morning. Right? You agree with that? It's a when you recognize you're waking up with the Rebbeinu Shalom. Anyway, he says now, Api Torah, Meshra, the Sakina, and that means it's a knife we're talking about. We'll see. We're going to see what it means. The Simin Lamed Ayin Sham Kol Torah. Fine. Baklal. Yeah, now these words we're going to read now are from Torah Lamed in the Likutey Moharan. Baklal. Kitzar kol adam levakesh lechapes ma'od acher Rabbi Amiti agadol b'mala. Every person has to search and find a real big Rebbe, a Rebbe that's a true tzaddik, a true gadol. Mufleges ma'od. He's supposed to be a wondrous person. Sheyuchal lahayod layasagas elikos. That this tzaddik can bring hasagas elikus into our life, the ideas of HaKadosh Baruch Hu into our life, and that's why we try to learn these svarim, right? Because we learned the Torah from Rabbi Nachman. Rabbi Nassim comes and helps us understand what Rabbi Nachman was talking about, right? And that's why we're learning these type of svarim, because we want to try to understand hasagas elikus, and we need tools to understand hasagas elikus. All right, if it makes sense, everyone? We good? Yeah? All right. Ki hasagas elikus hi efshel lahasek ki ima yedei kama tzimtzumim. So to understand lofty things, you're going to have to have. It's going to have to be constricted. It's going to have to be toned down. Maybe we could say it like that. We have to tone it down to a level where where it's palatable, where people can understand it. Because if it's too lofty, people have no connection to it if it's too lofty. But if it's something that can be brought down to their level, so then it can be benefited by it. Okay, here. Okay, shehem bechinas sivuvim v'akdamis. So you have the sivuvim things are he has to go around. And Hakdamas, you have to give a lot of introduction, right? Is that the right word to use? Introductions to the topic. The same way a Rebbe learns with a child, when you have a Malamed that teaches a child, so the Rebbe has a lot of information. The Rebbe has years of experience. The Rebbe has years of Avodas Hashem, but when he sits down to learn with the child, he has to put all of that pretty much aside and deal with the child. Right? He has to do it on that, so he has to put all of that aside. But yet, even though he's putting it aside, it's still he has all that experience. So even when he teaches a child, there's so much more going on in the lesson itself. Good? Okay. Now, v'chol ma shehu kotem b'mahala b'yoser, and the lower the person is, the lower the level the person is on, v'chol ma shehu choyle b'yoser, and the sicker the person is, right? So in other words, if you have a person that's sick, right, and he has just a cold, so he can go to any doctor, it's no problem. But if chas v'shalom the person he gets a big sickness. So depending on the sickness, he has to go to a bigger doctor. He needs a specialist. So too is a person if he's a Jew that fell aside, and now he wants to come back, and he has to make tikkunim. So he'll have to find a big tzaddik in order to help him make those tikkunim. The same way the mashal for the nimshal is that the person is physically sick, he needs a big doctor. If he's spiritually sick, he needs a big tzaddik. Okay? Now, who tzarech reife gadol b'yosef? Dahainu, Rebbe gadol b'yosef. And he'll need a bigger, like we said, the two examples. If it's going to be a person that's physically sick, he'll need a doctor. But if a person is spiritually sick, he'll need a big tzaddik. Shehei gadol b'mala kol kach ad sheyuchal l'rapos oisei gamkein, until he can bring a tikkun to him. V'yuchal l'savei v'imai gamkein ad sheyachnis. The main thing is to bring the recognition of HaKadosh Baruch Hu into the person's life, to recognize that the Rebbeinu Shalom is with the person, because unfortunately a lot of people go through life, they make their mistakes, and then they feel that Hashem is there, but what does Hashem have anything to do with me? I'm in my own world, so to say. I'm doing my own thing. I have no connection to Hashem. But the tzaddik shows him that no matter where you are, Shavisi Hashem Lenegdi Summit, he's with you there too.
I'll take it. Sorry.
Please go ahead, Yossi.
I think Rav Nachman speaks of this, which is forget I don't have a connection to Hashem, so to speak. Well, I mean, he's in another. I don't even have a connection to the tzaddik. I mean, you're telling me that I need a big tzaddik because I'm so low. I'm going to tell you I'm the furthest thing from this tzaddik. Now, I need to find myself maybe a Rav. You seem like a good guy. Okay, so fine. He knows more than me. You know more than me. I'll hang around you. You'll teach me, and that's where I'll kind of be. But I'm not going to start messing with such high lofty.
But that's
but that also is like the Yitzhahara or the other side.
Of course, that's a Yitzhahara. No, but Yossi, what was the phrase? He said Baklal. Ki tzarech kol adam levakesh ulechapes ma'oid acher Rebbe Amiti. No, listen, Yossi, we're talking about the guy that's already recognizing he made his mistake. And now he's trying to find it. Look, if a person is sick and doesn't recognize he's sick, he's not looking for the doctor, right?
No, but he might look for someone who knows more than him.
So Rabbi Nachman speaks about that in Torah Lamed.
Right.
But you still have to find someone to teach you the deepest things. And this is the reason why I'll say it again. That's why we're using Reb Nassim to learn, because he can teach us the greatest way. And that's what we're learning. That's why we're learning these limudim. But again, the person has to know. He has to know that he's to search for the tzaddik. He has to know to search for the doctor. If he doesn't know, he's oblivious that there's any problem or anything, then how is he ever going to search? So yes, and then you're right. When he does come to the recognition, so then he'll say, well, why do I need such a big rabbi? I'm a little guy myself, so why do I need such a big rabbi? But then when he realizes that this other rabbi can't teach him the way he can understand, he's not on that level to help enter in this information into his mind, because he doesn't have that experience. We'll see, okay? Yeah. So watch the next paragraph, you'll see now. These tzimtzumim are what we're talking about, the Hagdamas, that you have to bring a lot of introduction. In other words, you can't just, bring things in. He has to bring examples. You have to do different things in order to help to make it palatable so the person can understand it. And through these examples and through the introductions and through the work that the tzaddik will do with the person, he'll be able to eventually attain a sagas elikus. Bechinas chachma tata, the lower realm of chachma. Bechinas malchus. Bechinas sa'aris. Hairs. We're going to see in a second what that means. Bechinas. Now he's bringing in the zayir over here. Okay. Shiurin, the asvin, the araisa. The shiurin means also the straightness of the letters of the Torah. Bechinas, sa'ara ukma, black hair. Look at this, black hair. And sa'ara beiguya, which is a wavy hair, curly hair. Sarah beiguya, like a curl, it's almost like a curly hair. So what's going on over here? So Rabbi Nachman speaks about in the lesson. He brings down it's brought down in the notes also from the Arizal, that the Arizal and the Tzaddikim were able to look at a person, and based on their face and their hair, seeing their hair, seeing their face, the lines in the forehead, the lines on the hand, the Arizal was able to look at the person and see what mitzvahs he did, what averis he did. He was able to see based on the tzura of the person. The tzaddik is able to see that. Where again, that's the reason why he needs to go to a big tzaddik and not just any ordinary person, because any ordinary person can't show him that. But if he goes to the big tzaddik that understands how to look at him and to see what he's spiritually lacking and what he needs to make rectifications for, so then you need the big tzaddik in order to be able to read that. The same example again is that with the doctor. The regular practitioner is not going to know if the person has some kind of a big illness. If he has something wrong, who knows? If he has something going on, the regular practitioner is not going to know how to do that. But if you have a specialist in the field, he'll be able to understand it. Does that work with you, Yossi? Yeah, that works? Okay. So he says here now, Shechoirani v'nava, the same idea like we brought this before. The words from Shira Shirim. Shechoirani v'nava. I may be blackened, but I'm beautiful. Right? We said it was Shechoirani b'maisa egel, v'navani b'binyan beis hamikdash. That's what in Shira Shirim, the Rashi brings that down over there. I was blackened by the chet of the egel, the golden calf, and via the building of the Beis Hamikdash, I was made beautiful. So again, over here we're bringing this again. Bechinas Avraham Tikkun Shachris. Avraham was the one that was Mesaka in Tefillah Shachris. Avraham Avinu is the midah of Chesed. Avraham Avinu was the one that it's connected with the morning. Avraham Avinu is connected with the Chesed of the morning. Chesed, we spoke about this. You have to connect to the Chesed to do a Chesed with oneself, to find that Nekuda Taiva in oneself. Remember we learned that? You need Avraham Avinu to do that, to find that Chesed, to find that Nekuda Taiva in the person. You'll need Avraham Avinu to do that. So Avraham was Masak and Shachris. Now v'tzrichin lahachiyos es malchus. We have to bring life back to the malchus. What does this mean? Ayadei ar aponim. Hameya b'sholosh regalim. So there's a special ar aponim that's illuminated on the three holidays, right? On Pesach, Shavuos, and Sukkot. There's a special or upon it. Sometimes the malchus falls down, right? So Rabbi Nachman speaks about that in lesson Beis also. Remember, we learned the lesson where HaKadosh Baruch Hu's malchus gets put down because the things are going on in the world, and we're not necessarily doing the right thing, and we're not giving the right respect to the Rebbeinu Shalom. So then the malchus falls aside to the chitzayim, unfortunately. And you can see it today. You see the malchus is by okay, but now umi yuchol lisbol es kol hatza'aka. Who can withstand the bitter cry? The bitter cry kisheneifeles hamalchus beineim, when the malchus, the kedusha, falls amongst the nations of the world. Who can really? And this is the idea of tikkun chatzos, right? We were learning about that last week. What's the idea? To recognize what's going on in the world, Hashem. Your Malchus Hashem is amongst the nations of the world. Can we bear that? B'china za'akas Moishel b'ksilim. Right? The za'aka, the cry, that's Moishel, that's being run by the Kesilim. Shaksil roitzel ischakim. The Ksil wants to get, okay, well, he's gonna, okay. V'tzrichin chascha mehem, right? He has to learn from them, okay. V'chines chascha le'dalit, he has to give the wisdom to the dalit. That's the dalit that fell down, the malchus, the dalit that fell down. V'zeh de'achesed shemegala ayedei hataychecha, through giving the proper rebuke, right? Through giving the proper rebuke, a person can come to do that. But again, only the tzaddikim know how to do that. You need a tzaddik in order to be able to rebuke the person. And well, what I learned from Rabbi Weinberg over the years, speaking to him so many times, whenever you have to give any kind of rebuke to somebody, never talk to the person directly. It'll never work. If you want to tell someone, you want to give someone advice, you say, I saw that you did this and this, it's over. Because the person then will become very defensive and he won't even listen to what you're saying once you told the person to do wrong. But if you go over to a person and you saw that you recognize he did something wrong and you want to help the person, you genuinely want to help the person. So if you go over to the person, you say, look, I just learned this. I happen to learn something interesting. I want to share with you. I want to share with what I learned. And you tell him over halacha, you tell him over what you thought was not right, what he was doing wrong, but you tell me, that's what I learned. Then the person will come to it on his own. He'll come to it on his own to recognize, oh, wait a second. He just told me this halacha, and I'm doing this wrong. The person comes to it on his own recognition. He recognizes it himself based on the teaching, so then he'll be open to it and he can benefit by it. But if you point fingers at people, you won't do that. And again, why am I bringing that in? Because again, that's what we're talking about. When you go to the tzaddikim, they know how to help the person the right way. They're not going to point fingers. They'll help the people. This is what the whole point is. And by helping people and bringing back them to Klal Yisrael, bringing Yidden back, that's bringing up the Malchus to Kedusha. Right? It's bringing the Shechina, it's bringing a Shleimus to the Shechina, and it's bringing up the Malchus. Ayin Sham Zayit. Okay. This okay? This was the introduction. This is the introduction to Halacha Daled. Reb Nosson is going to explain this throughout the next few letters as we go along. But is it okay? So we're clear? Baruch Hashem. Beis. We'll do Beis as well today. Okay. V'chol zeh nasa b'chol biker. You can do this every morning because again we're still in Hashkamas HaBiker. Sha'oz b'shachris oyla ayeles hashachar. In the morning we know that the morning wakes up. We have the, what do you call it? The dawn? What is it called? How do you say that in English? Allah is a shachar.
Breaking.
No, I know it's the breaking of the day, but what do you call that? Daybreak. You want to say we call it day? What does he call it in there? Oh, it doesn't matter. Okay. Shehu b'chinas aliyas amad hashachar. That's the Amad HaShachar, the morning rising up. Shu B'chinas Malchus, that's the Malchus coming back. Because again, when you could recognize in the morning, when you get up in the morning, it's Gabe Kari, right? And you can understand Shavisi Hashem Lenegdi Summit. So you're giving the credence back to the Rabbeinu Shalom. So then, of course, that's the beginning, B'china Malchus Chochmat Tata, Shenikra Shachar. Kihu mitzamseim haruos, because it's constriction to what the person can see. That's the shachar. Shekol hasoges alikus al yoda v'alkein tzrichin lizgaber ma'oid lamoid v'avoiker hashkeim kidei la'asek b'teira avoida. And therefore, since it's the chacham atata early in the morning, and you want to raise up the malchus, so what you do is you get up early in the morning and you engage yourself in Torah, and you engage yourself in Avodas Hashem. By doing that, you're helping raise up the Chachma Tata to connect to the Chachma Ilah, because I have the Chachma Tata. When I engage in Torah, I connect with the Chachma Ilah, All right, Kidei sheyagdil v'yalev v'yoyre v'chinas hashachar, in order to raise up and make great the morning. V'chinas chachma tatanal, v'chinas ura kevaydi, like we learned about David HaMelech, ura kevaydi, ura nevel v'china, right? David HaMelech's his harp. We saw that he has a beautiful harp, and David recognized that as we were riding through Kiryat Arba. You probably noticed on one of the kikkad have a beautiful harp. So David said yesterday, he said, this is David HaMelech's harp. And there was blowing. Like the lesson, amazing. It's amazing when you learn and you see the things, it's so beautiful. A'ira Shachar, you be the one to wake up the Shachar. Kadeshi Yizka lebechinas hasogas alikus, in order to come to this understanding, the recognition of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and that's what it's all about. Recognizing Hashem throughout the day, through all my things, everything I do, recognizing I'm mamish always with the Rebbeinu Shalom. Lahakir Oisay is to recognize Hashem in everything that I do, anyone I meet, anywhere I go. I have to find the Elikus. I have to find the Rebbeinu Shalom there. Asher lekach nitzarnu. That's why the Rebbeinu Shalom created us. He wants us to recognize Him in the world. This is the most, from the, I learned a lot of lessons from Rabbi Vigna Miller. He was so cognizant of this. It was unbelievable. He would say all the time, when you walk down the street and you see a leaf, pick up the leaf, look at the leaf. Look at all of the veins in the leaf. Look how intricate a leaf is. Look how intricate it is. There are veins in the leaf, and through the way it's connected to the branch, the sustenance, whatever the nutrients that go through the veins of a leaf. And if you look at a flower, you would say, look at a flower. Look how intricate the flower is, the color of the flower, the pollen, how the bees come, and it's pollinated. There's so much. See the Rebbeinu Shalom in everything that you're doing. He's there. The Rebbeinu Shalom is there. It's unbelievable to recognize the Rebbeinu Shalom. And he would also, say, if you take a watermelon seed. So what do we do if you have a watermelon seed? You throw it out. He said, but look at it for a second. Think about this. You could take this seed, plant this seed in the ground, and it knows, it has all the information in it in order to make another watermelon plant that'll be just like the watermelon that it was in. And a little seed. Whoever thinks about that? Does anyone think about that? A seed? But that's what we're learning. So it's so important to recognize and to see HaKadosh Baruch Hu into everything that we engage ourselves in, to recognize the Rebbeinu Shalom is there. V'chol ha'olamos nivru rak b'shvil zeh. All the worlds and everything Hashem created, He created it all for us to recognize Him. This is all the Rebbeinu Shalom wants. And for this, begin the Shmedinan LaHashem in order to recognize the Rebbeinu Shalom. That's what the Zohar says. So just to review what we said here. So the Rebbe started off now if a person recognizes he's far away and he wants to come back, so the same way if a person is not well and he realizes he's really sick, he goes to find a specialist. So too does the person have to go and find himself a great tzaddik. That's why so many people they're so happy to be able to go to Uman, to go to Rabbi Nachman, because they realize they have different pagamim. They need to make rectifications for pretty big things, and they understand that Rabbi Nachman is the tzaddik, is the Rebbe Agadol. He's the one. He's the great Rebbe. He's the great doctor that can help them, and that's why there's so many people go to say the Tikkun HaKlali and all of the other things. That's one idea. Okay, and then we were saying over here this concept of the recognition about giving teichacha. When you give the teichacha, you have to do it in such a sweet way. Do it in a very loving way. Don't be mean. Don't be this, and try to do it always in a roundabout way. Via doing that, you'll be most likely to be more successful. We can do this with our kids and with family. Anyone, anytime we have to say something, instead of pointing a finger at them, address it in a roundabout way, and then perhaps you'll be more successful. You have to ask the Rebbeinu Shalom also, please Hashem, give me the siyata d'shmaya so I can do this and be able to do this. So, does anyone have any points you want to say? Anything, Yosef? You have any questions or something? I see you look very you thinking it.
I don't know. It's a deep Torah.
The what?
I don't know.
It's a deep Torah? What is it?
Deep Torah.
Say, please.
No, I don't. I'm
No,
just.
what, like this particular Torah is so deep?
I just feel like it's like we're we oversimplify it a little bit. It's like I can say, oh yeah.
No. Okay, Yosef. Okay, we're not. Okay, so we're learning here Likutey halachas. Okay, so we're just bringing in points of Likutey Moharan. If you want, we can learn together Torah Lamed. It'll take us about 10 to 12 hours. Okay, and then you'll understand on another level. But again, we're learning Sefer Likutey halachas over here, and it's based on the teachings of Rabbi Nachman. And we're trying to understand it, and I'm glad you brought this up. Hashkamas habayker, how can I use this every morning? How can I connect to this every morning? Because again, let's think about it. Every morning we meet people and we see different things, right? So I have to know about my teichach. I need to know, in other words, what things can I use on a regular basis? That's really what Likutey halachas is doing. How can I become a better Jew? Have more recognition of the Rabbeinu Shalom, more recognition of the Tzaddikim. Okay, David?
I just didn't get
Please.
what we were trying to say. That's the deepest meaning. I haven't heard yet what the thesis of Torah Lamed is yet.
Yeah.
I don't know. So when you say it's a deep Torah, like which part are you talking about? Like you're right, so talking about Shacharis, Abraham, and like this. Okay, I mean those are
these concepts, these sephir. I used to pretend that I understood what the sephiros mean in that, but I have no idea. Like I don't. You know, it says the concept of malchus and
okay, but in general,
it's just.
So one second. So hold on a second. So look, we have the SS spheres, right? We have the Chabad and the Chagas, right? Yeah. Chabad is Chachma, Bina, and Das, and then we have the Chagas, which is Chesed, Gevurah, Tveres, Netzach, Yisod, and Malchus. Malchus is the lowest one. Malchus is Tata. Malchus is the lowest one, but Malchus also encompasses all of the spheres. Is the lowest one, but it also encompasses all of the spheres. The way to understand it is of a chain. If you have a chain, a shalshelis, right? So the chain, if you take a look, if you're holding the chain, right? So the one rung is into the next rung, right? And that's how they work, right? But the lower part of the chain, the one that the rung that goes in, that lower part is now is in the upper part of the other ring, right? So Malchus basically, what I'm trying to say is Malchus really encompasses all of the spheres. So we're learning over here that Malchus sometimes given over to the other side via Jews not necessarily doing what they're supposed to be doing. We're not doing the right thing. So the Malchus is given over to the Umas Olam. We're learning how we could bring the Malchus back to Klal Yisrael. How do I do that? When I get up in the morning, where the Malchus is, which is Shachar, and the Malchus is lower in the morning, via me learning Torah, via me doing my Avodas Hashem, I'm helping raise up the Malchus. I'm helping reclaim the Malchus. But we're going to learn more about it. But that, you see, Yosef, you have to understand, every time you start a new halacha in Likutey halachas, especially Dal is longer, so Rab Nosson gives us the background of it and the point of the lesson that we need of Likutey Moharan, that we're going to need for this lesson to understand what he's going to be teaching us forward. Okay? And that's basically the way we understand it. I'm glad you brought that up. Anything else? We're good? Shkaya.